Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting and the incredible story behind a 1997 1-cent coin, one that could potentially be worth a whopping $10 million. Now, you might be thinking, wait, hold up. A penny worth $10 million? Is this for real? Well, stick around as we uncover the history, rarity, and value of a particular 1997 penny that could make you a fortune. Before we get into the specifics of the 1997 1-cent coin, let's quickly talk about the history of the U.S. penny. The U.S. Mint has been producing pennies since 1793, and over the years, the design has undergone many changes. The most iconic penny, of course, features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, which has been in circulation since 1909, and the reverse originally featured a wheat design, hence the term wheat penny. Over time, the penny has undergone changes, such as the introduction of the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959 and the Union Shield design that came in 2010. But here's where things get interesting. In 1997, something happened that would set a small number of pennies from that year apart from the rest. Now, you might be wondering, what makes a 1997 penny so special? Let's take a closer look at the coin itself. This particular year, 1997, was just a typical year in terms of production, but there's one key factor that made certain 1997 pennies stand out: a potential minting error. Some rare 1997 pennies were accidentally minted with a major error, and that error could turn a humble penny into a collector's dream. There were rumors circulating about pennies with misprints, double dies, and other imperfections, which only further fueled the curiosity of collectors. One of the most coveted errors that collectors are on the lookout for is a double die or a double strike error. What does that mean? Well, in coin production, when the die that strikes the coin is misaligned or it strikes the coin more than once, it can create a blurry, doubled image on the coin. These errors can happen in any year, but when they occur on a coin like the 1997 penny, they're a game changer. And some of these errors can turn a coin that's worth just 1 cent into a collector's item valued at thousands, or even millions, of dollars. You see, it's not just the coin's age or the year that matters when determining its value. It's all about rarity and demand. A well-preserved 1997 penny with a noticeable minting error can become a sought-after piece for collectors. So, how can you tell if your 1997 penny is worth more than its face value? First, let's talk about condition. A penny in mint condition, with minimal wear and tear, is always worth more than one that's been around for decades, passed through hundreds of hands, and lost its shine. But if you have a 1997 penny with a minting error, like a double die or a misaligned strike, that's when things get really interesting. Take a look at this example of a double die penny. Notice the extra layers of detail on the lettering and the portrait of Lincoln. This is the kind of flaw that makes certain 1997 pennies so valuable. Double die errors can be very subtle, and sometimes they're difficult to spot with the naked eye. A good way to check your 1997 pennies is by using magnification tools or a loupe. If you notice any doubling in the letters Liberty or In God We Trust, or if Lincoln's portrait looks unusually thick or blurred, you may have a potential error coin on your hands. Now, let's talk about why a 1997 penny could fetch such an astronomical price. Coins with significant minting errors can attract collectors willing to pay big bucks for a chance to own a rare piece of U.S. history. In fact, some rare error pennies have been known to fetch millions of dollars at auction. Imagine this: a rare 1997 penny with a double die or misaligned strike error could potentially be sold for as much as $10 million, depending on its rarity and condition. These error coins are highly sought after, and certain buyers are willing to pay top dollar to add them to their collections. It's not just about the coin itself. It's about owning a piece of history that if you think you may have a 1997 penny with a valuable minting error, the next step is to authenticate it. There are reputable grading services like PCGS and NGC that specialize in authenticating and grading rare coins. Getting your coin graded and authenticated by professionals not only confirms its authenticity, but it also helps to determine its market value. Once authenticated, a rare 1997 penny could be sold at auction or through a private sale, where its value could skyrocket. But remember, not all 1997 pennies are worth $10 million. It's the unique combination of rarity, error, and condition that can make certain pennies so valuable to so, there you have it. While most 1997 pennies are worth just 1 cent, a rare few with minting errors could be worth tens of thousands, or even millions, of dollars. If you've got a 1997 penny lying around in your pocket or coin jar, it might be worth taking a closer look. You could be holding onto a small treasure that could change your life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories about rare coins and collectibles. Who knows, your next penny could be worth a fortune. Next, imagine this: you're looking through your pocket change, and you come across a 2000 penny. You might think, it's just a penny, no big deal, right? Well, you could be holding a coin worth millions of dollars. That's right, a 2000 1-cent coin, which looks like any ordinary penny, might just be worth a mind-blowing $7 million. Stick with us as we uncover the history, rarity, and value behind this incredibly rare coin. The penny, or 1-cent coin, has been part of U.S. currency since 1793. Over the years, it has gone through numerous design changes, but it's the Lincoln Memorial design, first introduced in 1959, that many of us are most familiar with. In 2000, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, but among them were a few very special ones, and it's one of these rare coins that we're about to dive into. Before we get into the specifics of the 2000 penny, let's take a quick trip through U.S. coin history. The design of the penny has evolved over the years. The most iconic penny design, featuring President Abraham Lincoln, has been in use since 1909. Originally, the reverse of the penny showed 2 wheat stalks, hence the name wheat penny, but in 1959, the design changed to the Lincoln Memorial. This stayed in circulation until 2010, when the current Union Shield design was introduced. The 2000 penny, like most pennies from this era, was produced by the U.S. Mint in Denver, which is why it bears the D Mint mark. These pennies were meant for everyday use, and the production numbers were incredibly high. But here's where things get interesting: not all 2000 pennies are created equal. Among the massive number of pennies minted that year, a select few carry a minting error that makes them extremely valuable. So, what's the big deal with the 2000 penny? Well, it's all about a specific minting error that occurred in a small batch of these coins. This error, called a wide AM error, has turned the 2000 penny into one of the most sought-after coins by collectors. But what is a wide AM error, and why does it matter so much? Normally, on a standard 2000 penny, the letters Z and M in the word America are supposed to be very close together, touching almost. But on certain 2000 pennies, the Z and M are spaced farther apart than they should be. This mistake, known as the wide AM error, is extremely rare, and that's what makes these pennies so valuable. Take a close look at this coin. See the wide spacing between the A and M? That's the wide AM error. And as rare as it is, collectors are willing to pay serious money for it. In fact, a 2000 wide AM penny can be worth thousands, tens of thousands, and in some cases, it's been reported to be valued at $7 million. Okay, so what's the catch? Why would a 2000 penny, which was made by the billions, suddenly be worth so much money? The value is all about rarity. Only a very small number of 2000 pennies were struck with the wide AM error. The rest of them were made with the regular design, where the A and M are much closer together. That tiny detail, when spotted, immediately makes a coin more valuable. The rarity of the coin combined with the fact that it's in excellent condition is what drives the price sky high. The wide AM error happened during the coin's minting process when the reverse die used for striking the penny was not properly aligned with the obverse die. As a result, the at and M were spaced farther apart than intended. Although errors like these happen from time to time in coin production, they're incredibly rare, and in the case of the 2000D penny, that rare mistake makes it highly valuable to collectors. So, how do you know if you have a 2000D penny with this valuable wide AM error? Here's how you can tell. First, examine the reverse side of the penny, focusing on the word America. The at and M should be close together, almost touching on a regular coin. If there's a noticeable gap between them, you could have a rare wide AM error penny. Keep in mind that this error only occurs on the 2000D penny. Other years and mint marks won't have the same spacing between the letters. If you believe you found a wide AM penny, the next step is to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. Grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, are trusted to determine the authenticity of rare coins and assess their condition. A coin's grade is one of the key factors in determining its value, and it's not just about finding the coin, it's about the condition it's in. A 2000D wide AM penny in mint condition could potentially sell for millions. In fact, in recent years, one of these rare pennies was auctioned for as much as $7 million. That's the kind of potential we're talking about when it comes to rare error coins. So, what makes this penny so valuable isn't just the wide AM error, but also the collector's demand for it. The world of coin collecting is filled with enthusiasts who are constantly on the hunt for rare and unique pieces, and the 2000D wide AM penny is at the top of many lists. With only a few known examples in circulation, this coin is one of the most desirable of its kind. Now, before you go rushing to check your pocket change, remember, not every 2000D penny is worth millions. The wide AM error is extremely rare, so finding one is like winning the coin collector's lottery. But if you do happen to find one, you could be holding onto a piece of US history worth a small fortune. The 1-cent coin, or penny, has been a part of the US monetary system since 1793, and over the years, it's gone through various design changes. The most iconic penny design, featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait, has been in circulation since 1909. However, one of the most famous reverse designs, the Lincoln Memorial, was introduced in 1959 and continued until 2009 when the US Mint replaced it with the Union Shield design. The 2000D penny you're looking at was made during this period, and although millions of these coins were minted, a very small number of them contain a rare minting error that can make them worth a fortune. Now, let's take a closer look at the US penny from 2000. It features the classic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side and Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. In 2000, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, but not all of them were created equally. In fact, some of the 2000D pennies were struck with a rare minting error that would later make them a highly sought-after collectible. While most 2000D pennies were made and released into circulation without any noticeable errors, there's a particular batch of them that were struck with an unusual mistake. This error, known as the wide AM error, is what makes these pennies so valuable. Normally, when you look at a penny, the letters A and M and the word America on the reverse side are close together. But in the case of certain 2000D pennies, the A and M are spaced farther apart. This subtle but crucial difference creates what's known as the wide AM error. So, what's going on here, and why is this spacing error such a big deal? The wide AM error happened because of a misalignment in the dies used to strike the coins. When the coin was being minted, the reverse die, the one that imprints the Lincoln Memorial design and the word America, was not properly aligned with the obverse die. This caused the A and M in America to appear spaced further apart than they should have been. Now, this might sound like a small issue, but it's a significant one for collectors because it makes certain 2000D pennies rare and highly desirable. Let's break it down. On a normal 2000D penny, the A and M are very close together, almost touching. But on a 2000D wide AM penny, there's a noticeable gap between the two letters. To illustrate, take a look at these side-by-side comparisons. You can clearly see the difference. This small detail is what turns an ordinary penny into a highly valuable collector's item. This spacing error is extremely rare. In fact, out of the billions of pennies minted in 2000, only a handful of them have the white AM error. This makes them one of the most sought-after varieties in the world of coin collecting. And now, you're probably wondering, how much is this penny worth? Although the 2000D penny with the white AM error may look just like any other penny, its rarity and the collector demand have pushed its value to incredible heights. A typical 2000D penny with this error could sell for thousands of dollars. However, in some cases, the price has reached as much as $7 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $7 million. The value of the 2000D white AM penny comes down to the rarity of the error and the fact that collectors are always looking for unique and scarce coins. Coin errors are fascinating to collectors because they represent a mistake made during the minting process, and in some cases, those mistakes are incredibly rare. Because the white AM error only occurs on a very small number of 2000D pennies, it makes the coins a highly desirable and valuable find. And it's not just any error. It's the type of error that turns a humble penny into a true treasure. In fact, the value of a 2000D white AM penny is determined by more than just the error itself. The condition of the coin is also extremely important. Coins that are in mint state condition, with minimal wear and no signs of damage, are worth significantly more than coins that have been worn down from years of circulation. So, how can you spot a 2000D penny with the white AM error? It's simple, just look at the reverse of the coin. Examine the word America and check the spacing between the A and M. On a regular coin, they should be very close together, almost touching. But if you see a noticeable gap between them, you could be holding one of the rarest pennies in existence. If you think you found a 2000D white AM penny, the next step is to have it authenticated and graded by a professional service. Reputable grading companies, such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, specialize in determining the authenticity and condition of rare coins. Having your coin graded not only confirms that it's a genuine white AM penny but also helps establish its market value. Once authenticated and graded, your 2000D white AM penny could be auctioned off to the highest bidder. At major auctions, rare coins can sell for astronomical prices. A well-preserved, high-grade white AM penny could fetch $7 million, or even more, depending on the market and demand. So, the next time you're flipping through your spare change, take a moment to check your pennies. You never know, you could be holding onto a 2000D white AM penny, one of the rarest and most valuable coins in U.S. history. It's a small, seemingly insignificant coin that could change your life forever. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories about rare coins, coin hunting tips, and ways to turn your pocket change into a fortune.